You're listening to Behind the Mic Media, where stories come alive and conversations inspire. From actors and musicians to authors and creators, host Dawn Mack takes you behind the mic for exclusive interviews, real moments, and the stories that connect us all. Get ready. The show starts now.
Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Dawn Mack, and today we're talking all things Christmas music, creativity, and the heart behind the holidays. My guest is singer, songwriter, and musician Andrew DeLong, whose brand new album, Christmas in Full Swing, captures that perfect mix of nostalgia and joy we all crave this time of year. We'll chat about recording at the legendary Abbey Road Studios, the inspiration behind his two original songs, Snow Angel and Christmas is on its way, and how this project came together in true holiday fashion. So grab something warm to sip on and get ready to be inspired. Here's my conversation with Andrew DeLong. Well, hello, Andrew. It is such a pleasure having you here.
It's my pleasure.
Well, thank you for taking the time. So I want to kind of start by saying, many listeners may know your name from your past projects, but Christmas in Full Swing really feels like a defining moment, both musically and personally. What first inspired you to create a Christmas album? And what did you want this record to say about who you are as an artist now?
Well, I've always wanted to do a Christmas album. I've been listening to the crooners of past, for many years. And it was actually, I've been doing work for a company called West One Music. We do sync licensing type of music in hopes to get our music on TV and film. And they actually reached out to me to see if I wanted to do like a crooner album. So it was something that's always been on my mind, but I wasn't trying to focus on that dream at that present time in my life. And it actually just fell in my lap, which was amazing.
Oh, that is indeed. Now, I understand you recorded this album at the iconic Abbey Road Studio, too, with some of London's finest musicians. Take us inside that moment. And what did it feel like to be standing in that historic room where so much musical history has been made?
I mean, it was surreal, to be honest. I mean, you walk into Abbey Road Studio and you walk down the corridor and there are pictures hanging up in the hallway, and it lines this long hallway with all the legends that have recorded there. And you can't describe it. It was an insane moment for me. And you could actually like smell the history. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was
wow.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
Well, and Andrew, you can now consider yourself part of musical history in that iconic studio for sure. Now, I took a listen to your album, absolutely love it. I love big band sound anyway. I've been a big fan of the crooners for the very longest time. I mean, it's some of the best music and it's timeless as well. And this album, it feels like it beautifully blends nostalgia with the modern touch, almost like a new classic that nods to the greats while still sounding fresh. How did you find that balance between timeless holiday warmth and your own unique musical style?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, that's exactly the vibe we were going for. I feel like we tried to get as close to get as close to the classic vibe as we possibly could. I feel like the sound, the modern sound might have came from the mixing that was done post-recording.
Yeah.
And my vocals. Sometimes I tried to I didn't want to go too classic sounding because that's not what we were going for. So I tried to lean into the more modern sound with my vocals. So I feel like that maybe lended itself to that vibe.
Well, as I was listening to it, immediately, as I first started listening to it, I was just captivated. I was taken back. And then as the album started to kind of unfold, it was like, wow, this is really something. Like, it made me wish we could hear this kind of music all the time, just because that sound is so rich in nature, and it just encompasses so much about music in general that people hold on to. And two of the most captivating tracks on the album are your original songs, Snow Angel and Christmas is on the Way. So share a little bit about what inspired those songs and how they came to life from the very first idea to the final recording.
I thank you. I'm so glad you like those two tracks. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
incredibly proud of those two songs. The one song, "Christmas Is on Its Way," is a song that I've kind of been fleshing out for a while, but it didn't actually come together until they approached me for this project, and it kind of just took shape on its own. I always had this great hooky melody in mind, and then I was looking for something that kind of was something that would lend itself well to, adverts, Christmas adverts. And I needed something that would say the season is here. And so I came up with the phrase "Christmas is on its way," and I searched, and it hasn't been done yet. And so it fit so well with the melody. It kind of just wrote itself, So
Yeah, yeah.
it was one of those songs where I sat down, and from start to finish, it only took me maybe a couple hours to write. So it was one of those dream scenarios of writing a quick song, and it turned out to be amazing. Um, and I was lucky enough to have an arranger named Emily Lim come on board for that song, and she took my good song and just made it absolutely wonderful, magical. So I couldn't be more proud of how that song came out.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's amazing. Especially, I've talked to so many artists throughout my career that have talked about how a song, when it comes together, it feels like they've written it in no time, and it ends up being some of their best work, in essence, because it just kind of writes itself,
that's right.
and falls into place. All the pieces fall into place.
And when that happens, you know that something natural and beautiful is happening.
Oh,
So you just
absolutely.
go with it.
Absolutely. It kind of goes beyond yourself as an artist when it just kind of takes on a life of its own, so to speak. And Snow Angel in particular, I found it's got this cinematic, almost storybook quality to it. It feels deeply emotional yet universal. When you were writing it, did you approach it differently, knowing it was an original piece that could one day become a holiday standard?
I mean, no, once again, this one, I was writing this one for some time as well. It didn't fall into place like the other one did. I put a little bit more thought. As you can tell, this one's a little bit deeper. The lyrics a little bit more descriptive, and it was a little bit tougher to write. And I did definitely have in mind that I wanted it to have that classic crooner feel. I wanted it to be reminiscent of, Sinatra, Andy Williams, Dean Martin, those greats. And so I had to be careful. I wanted to make sure that it really felt authentic. So that one took me a little bit of time to put together.
Well, and the one of the things that really stood out to me about your album as a whole is just that in listening to it, I think so many people in general, you've heard so many say, what kicks off the Christmas season for them is hearing the old Andy Williams classic or Dean Martin or one of the crooners, and so this album definitely gives you that feeling. It's like, Christmas has started, and people really gravitate to that this time of year. They love the nostalgia for so many reasons, because it helps them kind of hold on to a piece of the past that, maybe when times were great or better or whatever the case may be. But it's something that I think, music being a universal unifier, it will always have that semblance to it.
Yeah, that's right. And I really hope that people cling on to this and make it part of their new tradition. I really hope that this fills a piece of that holiday spirit for everyone.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know I'm going to be listening to it every single season. So there's that. And I won't be alone, I'm sure. Now, you mentioned that you worked with Emily Lim and Richard, and please forgive me, Jacques. Is it Jacques? How you pronounce his last name?
I'm pretty sure it's Jake's.
Jakes. Okay. See,
Jake.
American, Southern American, mispronouncing things. Please forgive me. So, but anyway, you worked with the two of them to bring these songs to life through stunning arrangements. What was that collaboration like, and how did their creative approach help shape the sound and emotion of the album?
Well, for the two original songs, I came to them with the song pretty much written. And then we bounced back ideas on how to kind of bring the arrangement together. But really, it was their brilliance that they took over the arranging side almost completely. And we worked together to make sure that we had the right keys in place, so that I wasn't singing too high or singing too low. And then we kind of rearranged the structure a little bit when needed. But for the public domain tracks, like your Jingle Bells, all those songs that have been done a million times before.
Mhm.
We basically only talked about keys and like tempo and feel. And then once we had an idea of how we wanted the feel and vibe to be, they took the reins. And I cannot
Oh,
take
wow.
any credit for all those other tracks because they're just phenomenal, phenomenal arrangers, as you can hear when you listen to these tracks.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the title itself of the project, Christmas in Full Swing, it has such an upbeat, joyful energy to it. And what does that phrase mean to you personally? And how does it reflect the spirit or message you wanted to capture throughout the record?
I mean, it's a brilliant. I can't take credit for that title. That was our fearless leader, and he came up with that. He coined that phrase, I guess, and it really means Christmas is here. Christmas is happening,
Mhm.
and these songs are going to be the soundtrack for your Christmas season, and it really encapsulated what we wanted this album to mean. So it was a brilliant title.
Yeah. Now, there is a wonderful emotional range in this album, moments of joy, nostalgia, even reflection, if you will. Were there any personal memories or traditions from your own life that influenced those feelings or guided the tone of the music?
Well, yes. Well, I lost my father about 5 years ago. No, more than that, 8 years ago now.
Mm.
Goodness, time flies. And one thing that my father and I used to always do is we would have the Christmas Story. I'm sure you're familiar with that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
We would have that movie on repeat in the background. And of course, that movie stirs up nostalgia from, I guess, the 50s, from my
Hmm.
father and and people of that generation. And so I wanted to make sure that I could also stir up nostalgia for other people, like the Christmas Story did for me, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of Christmas as a whole is that it does invoke so many memories and new traditions, old traditions that people hold dear, and it's just, it's everlasting in a way. Um, Now you've worked across various musical styles over your career, but creating a Christmas album feels like its own kind of storytelling. And how does this project differ from your previous work in terms of what it brought out in you as a performer and a songwriter?
These are great questions.
Oh,
They're
thank
wonderful.
you.
They are making me really dig, and I have to think. And that's a good thing. I honestly, I would say you're right. I have done so many different styles and genres, from Motown to new age pop, bubblegum pop, if you will. I've done so many genres, but this is kind of taking me back to my roots. When I first started singing, my grandmother always had Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra in the car, and it's a genre that I've always felt so close to and always loved doing. And so this was kind of a breath of fresh air for me to be able to come back to those roots. And Christmas for everyone is so magical. To be able to fuse those roots of the crooner style and bring in the magic of Christmas, it was just a dream scenario. It was amazing. So yeah, I was really grateful when West One Music reached out to me to be able to create this album. It was wonderful.
Yeah, and that is kind of like something that is divinely orchestrated almost because when you have an entity like West One Music reaching out to you and saying, "Hey, how about this?" That is just a dream scenario in the making, and I'm glad to see it's come to fruition for you.
Thank you.
Um, as fans start adding Christmas in Full Swing to their holiday playlist, how do you hope it fits into their celebrations? What would make you happiest to know people are doing or feeling while your songs are playing this Christmas?
Oh man, I mean, I hope that people are blaring Christmas is on its way when they're baking their Christmas cookies or making their Christmas dinner. I hope the family comes together in the kitchen, turns on their Bose speakers, has it blaring in the background, and I hope it really just brings life and joy to the season.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have it on while I'm baking and every opportunity that I get for sure. It's such a great album. Well, Andrew, what a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your artistry behind Christmas in Full Swing. It's such a rich, joyful album, and I know It's going to become part of so many holiday playlists this season.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Well, before we let you go, tell everyone where they can find the album and stay connected with you online.
Sure. I mean, the album's on every major streaming platform. So check it out. Just type in Andrew DeLong, Christmas in Full Swing. And what was the last question? To tell them how they can keep up with me.
Where they can keep up with you online.
Oh, I'm so bad with this sort of thing. You could check out my website. It's andrewdelong.co.uk. And you can also find my socials. I believe it's Andrew DeLong Music on Instagram.
Wonderful. Well, Andrew, thank you again for joining me, and congratulations on a truly timeless Christmas album. We are all going to enjoy it so much this holiday season.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. Be sure to check out Christmas in Full Swing by Andrew DeLong, available now wherever you stream or buy music. Until next time, keep the cocoa warm, the music playing, and the Christmas spirit alive. I'm Dawn Mack. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in to Behind the Mic Media with your host, Dawn Mack. Be sure to follow the show online at behindthemicmedia.com and connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads, and TikTok, all at Behind the Mic Media. And don't miss our YouTube channel, where you can watch all of our interviews and exclusive moments. Make sure to like and subscribe so you'll be notified whenever a new episode drops. Until next time, thanks for listening. And remember, the best stories are the ones shared behind the mic.